tell you about my best friend. He's a warm-hearted person who loved me till the end. People, let me tell you about my best friend. He's a one-boy cuddly toy, my up, my down, my pride and joy. People, let me tell you about him. He's so much fun. Whether we're talking man to man or whether we're talking son to son, 'cause he's my best friend. Yeah, he's my best friend. La la, ba da 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 ya, ba da 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 ba, ba da 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 ya, ba da da beep beep, bo bo bye, rubba dubba beep, bo bo rubba dubba beep, bo bo whoops.
This is David. I'm Kern. This is the inaugural show of the David and Goliath Show.
Hello, everybody, and want to first of all say thank you for joining in on our first ever broadcast of the David and Goliath Show. We'll go ahead and get right started here. First off, we're going to go over the biggest stories that have happened here recently in our sports area. One of those obviously being with the Atlanta Braves and what they've done recently by extending the contracts of a lot of their most promising younger players. We're also going to get into the recent events that have happened in the basketball and the football worlds with gay players now making their mark on the sports world. And then we're also going to follow up with this. This is a special area from my buddy Kern here. He's going to get a little NASCAR talk in. We promise we won't do too much of that, but he's going to talk a little NASCAR and what happened in the Daytona 500 week last week. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. The biggest thing really that's happened around here regionally was the Atlanta Braves in the past couple of weeks and what they've done with their younger players, getting them locked up. You know, a lot of us over the offseason, we've wondered what's going to be the Braves' strategy. Are they going to go out and get their ace pitcher? A lot of us were hoping for that.
Jess Marja.
Yeah, okay. Don't know if that's really an ace pitcher, but that would be one option. The fella out of Tampa Bay, Price, that was another thing that got kind of rumored out there.
He got locked up with a long extension, though.
He did. But obviously, Frank Wren at the end, in my opinion, did the right thing. You know, he didn't oversell for one of those pitchers just to make a point. Mm-hmm. You know, that would have been the easy thing to do. What he did instead was invested in our future. And this is what a lot of organizations out there don't do, such as the Yankees and the Dodgers. They go out there and just blow money on free agents just because it's the popular thing to do. We kind of went about it the other way.
But I want to interrupt you on that fact. What we did, we stood pat. Stood pat was not getting past the first round. We needed to make a big splash and get a third baseman that could hit for power and average.
Third baseman out of everything. Third baseman Chris Johnson almost won the batting title last year.
He hit for average, but he didn't hit for anything else.
He almost won the batting title last year. So if you're going to correct one thing on the team, it was going to be a third baseman?
Chicks dig long balls. It puts fans in the seats.
That's irresponsible. And this is why you would never be the president of a baseball team or any other team.
Let's keep it.
It doesn't even make any kind of sense. But I agree with what they did. Look, it's not just about next year. And by the way, these younger players should be getting better. Look what happened with the Braves last year with their injuries. Decimated. Everyone from I'm not even going to try to make a list of it because it goes from pitching to outfield to infield. Everyone. Mm-hmm. And we still won 96 ball games. And by the way, had Craig Kimbrell came in that 8th inning in the last game against the Dodgers, who knows what would have happened. Game 5 back in Atlanta, you're this close to moving on to the next round of the playoffs. This close against really what was probably the most talented team in the National League.
Coulda, shoulda. We did it.
So what would you suggest?
We would have had a power hitter.
You think we're one power hitter away? You think that's what they're missing?
Absolutely.
So what would you suggest?
I would suggest a power hitting third baseman.
Who? What?
I mean, you could have got anyone. Anyone. We could have made a trade. We have a plethora of stars.
What power hitting third baseman are you talking about that we could have gotten?
We could have got Aramis Ramirez. He's a free agent. He's still hitting for power even though he's up in his age.
It's just irresponsible.
No.
You secured your future this offseason.
We secured our future, yes, with Freddie Freeman.
Not just Freddie Freeman. Teheran?
Freddie Freeman is the face of the franchise.
Okay, that's part of it, but it wasn't just Freddie Freeman. What about Teheran?
He's the biggest piece. Teheran is a nice piece. I'll be better when we lock up Mike Minor. He's the future of the rotation.
I disagree.
Left-handed.
I think potentially he could be. I think one player who doesn't get enough credit or notice would be Beachy. Out last year. But people forget what he did 2 years ago before he got hurt.
But did you see his first spring training start?
This is first coming off of Tommy John.
He pitched. He pitched last year.
He pitched a couple games last year and got the elbow check.
To be fair, his first 2 innings, he never topped 89 miles per hour in spring training. That scares me.
It scares me too. It does. But there's still potential there. Mike Minor, you could be right, but he's had his own consistency issues. Tehran, if it comes down to just pure natural ability and stuff, I don't know anyone who tops Tehran, and we locked him up. I think we all know that the Braves probably have tried to lock Minor up.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't been successful.
No, they haven't. He's a lefty. He throws 95, and he's got a sick curve.
He doesn't throw 95.
Getting off topic. Keep it moving.
He's a great pitcher. I'm sure the Braves have worked on trying to get him extended, but I'm sure his agent is saying, "Hey, like you mentioned, you are a top of the rotation type left-handed pitcher. He's probably going to wait around and see what he can get."
And he may.
We'll see what happens. But all that being said, let's not lose fact of what has been done. Tehran, Freddie Freeman. Here comes the controversial part that a lot of people say. You signed Hayward to 2 years. You signed Freddie Freeman to, 6, 7, whatever it was. A lot of people are saying, okay, so you pick Freddie over Jason, which on the record,
Jason can't stay healthy.
On the record, I have no problem with. I think Jason, a lot of the local media here loves Jason Hayward. They talk about him all the time. He's so great. He's had one good year. Honestly, one good year.
And what scares me about him is, he becomes a Jeff Francoeur, a one-hit wonder.
I don't know if he'll go down that low because Jeff Francoeur turned out to be god-awful. But I still think he's a little overhyped, and I think the Braves kind of showed that too. Frank Wren, again, this is why I respect Frank Wren. I think he's making good decisions. One good year. He had a couple of good months last year. When he came into the lead of the lineup, everyone got excited. But again, that's just a couple of months.
And he got hurt.
He got getting a fastball to the face. That's not exactly his fault. But still, there's been other years that he's been in the lineup the whole time, hasn't produced the whole year. Even last year, went through a lot of stretches where he just wasn't getting the job done. So I love giving Jason Hayward just 2 years, make him prove to you what he's worth, and then maybe talking down the road.
And not a lot of guarantee money, that's what I like. Yeah,
absolutely. So I guess we're on the same page with Jason Hayward. We're not buying into the Kool-Aid. He still has a lot to prove.
Absolutely.
Trey Kimbrell was one that a lot of people didn't see coming, though.
No.
Closer.
I thought for sure it would be arbitration.
He is the best closer in the game.
And you get him on a dime.
Dime. He's coming at a pretty cost, and it's going to go up every year. Well, here's the thing.
But if you notice, every contract that we sign is backloaded, and that's for the new stadium.
Exactly.
We have the horrible TV contract.
2027.
So
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's what I was going to say. We have been hearing and told that the Braves' payroll will be going up. After the new stadium in 2016, their payroll is supposed to be going up. And now when you look at these contracts, you can tell. So we'll still have to see how all the specifics work out. But if this is true, if we can get all these players locked down, plus we can go out and get a couple free agents. Oh, by the way, Danny Uggles, adios. In a couple of years, you'll be gone. We'll get some more money there. If we can get another key free agent that actually produces along with this young talent, I can't predict that we'll be a World Series team this year. And that's what you're talking about with your power-hitting third baseman. Even though I don't think third baseman's a weak point on this team. We got a lot of others. But we're one or two pieces away from guaranteeing maybe a World Series caliber team this year. But we're not looking at just this year.
No.
We got a new stadium that we need to fill up here in a couple of years. We need to secure that and be viable in the future. That's what good organizations do.
But
the Yankees go for this year. The Dodgers go for this year. It doesn't work.
Us winning a championship this year makes it even more viable. More money, more revenue.
I just don't think one more offensive player would have made us a World Series team this year.
And it's not just that Chris Johnson didn't have power numbers.
Chris Johnson was one of your best offensive
He's
players.
the person that we have the least money into that we could replace.
So why would you get rid of him if you're already
Because
investing the
we
least
can
amount of
get
money?
if I get somebody that hits 270, 40 home runs, and 115 RBIs
At third base,
third base.
Third base, yeah. How many people do that?
There's a handful.
You already have a third baseman that was already second or third in the league for the batting title. You want to replace him, and you already admitted that you're paying dog crap for him as it is.
I would love to, especially with the extra.
It doesn't make sense. We'll move on because this just I think anyone would understand this doesn't make any sense at all. Let's go ahead and get into the second story, which is a momentous, I guess, of time for the sports world. I don't know how momentous, but we've had our first couple of athletes officially come out of the closet, openly gay and professional, the major, not soccer, but soccer fans, but the major sports leagues, baseball, basketball, football. Jason Collins broke the ice last year, even though it wasn't too risky because he's like a 33, 34-year-old guy.
And he wasn't on a team.
He wasn't on a team. He really, based on his talent, he should have never been on another team again, probably.
No.
But he did it, and it broke the ice. The big one was Michael Sam's here recently, right after the college football year ended. Many people predicting third, fourth round draft pick. He comes out. That's a little bigger because I think even more than a current player who's already in a locker room with a team, with an NFL team that the other players know him.
Yep.
You got Michael Sam who's looking for an NFL team to join, and he's just coming out and honest.
And he comes out in the combine and he lays some horse manure on
That's
the
the
field.
big thing. And I've heard other local media folks talk about it to where a lot of NFL teams are going to be skeptical taking a gay player just because of the baggage that it's going to bring. The media attention, the hoopla that NFL teams don't want to be a part of. Their business, take Monday off, Tuesday get back to work, Wednesday game plan, business. Poor old Tim Tebow, part of the reason he can't get on the team is because of the distraction he brings with him.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Sam, whatever team he ends up with, and I do think he'll end up with a team.
The circus will roll in.
And I don't know. He definitely didn't hurt himself didn't help himself in the combine. What was the numbers? 4.91, 40
He
times.
ran a 4.91. And what's the big thing for a defensive end? It's this 3-cone drill. He ran one of the lowest 3-cone drills by any defensive end in the combine to 7.8.
Yeah. So when he first came out of the closet, basically everyone pumped him up immediately. Third, fourth round draft pick, co-defensive player of the year in the SEC. Now everyone's talking 6th, 7th round. We'll see what happens. Like I said, I think he'll be drafted. It will be lower. It'll be interesting to watch. But God bless the guy because that takes more than the Jason Collins thing, in my opinion. This takes a lot of courage to be going to the next level, looking to join an NFL team, and right up front before anything coming out and admitting that you're gay. God bless you. I don't think it's a huge story. I don't think it's a civil rights type story. I really don't. But God bless the kid. It shows strength.
Yes. And to follow up with the Jason Collins thing, he has played 10 years in the league. He's been a viable backup, viable bench player.
3.4 points a game.
Yes.
That's not too viable.
The biggest reason I think Jason Collins was signed this year wasn't because he can play. The Nets are struggling. They signed him to put fans in the seats.
Of course. It's a business.
Yeah, absolutely. And it shows it that way because, this morning they announced that they will not, re-sign him to another 10-day contract.
Good business move. But hey, at least the good thing that might have came from it is it's done. The first gay player is now in the NBA. So there will be a second one, and it probably won't be too long from now. The story won't be as big next time, and when the third and the fourth and the fifth one happens, it'll be basically a back page story. It won't be a big deal. So the ice has been broken.
Yes, it has.
Let's go ahead and get into our last top story of the week, and I'm going to let you run with this one because you and all 10 of the other fans out there, let's talk NASCAR.
This past Sunday, we did have the Daytona 500. It's the first race of every year. The 10-time defending most popular driver of the year, Dale Earnhardt Jr., won the race.
He did. 10
and
hours
a
long.
decisive factor
10 hours long.
with a rain delay.
10 hours.
It's the second time he's won it. First time in 10 years. It's a track that him and his father both have dominated over the past years. What can you say? He led the most laps.
I think you said all that can be said. Yeah, the race was 10 hours long. Dale Earnhardt won. God bless you, Dale Earnhardt. Let's go on and talk about some sports. All right. We'll go ahead and lead into the NFL, and that's your segment, big buddy. Let's hear what you got here.
All right. The first thing I want to talk about with NFL is I read an article this morning, and it was the top 75 available free agents.
You're not going to go through all 75?
No.
Okay.
I've picked out two, and they're both at the same position. The first one is Sean Marino, formerly of the Denver Broncos.
Okay.
Broncos. The second being Maurice Jones-Drew of UCLA. And
Both running backs. Okay.
Yes. And if I am a general manager for an NFL team, and I'm looking at this list, and it says Sean Marino is the 65th best available free agent, I'm all over it. Get him at a cheap, he'll
Based
come
off
in.
of his one good year he's had?
Hey, he hasn't had anything to work with until this year. He finally gets a quarterback, he finally gets an offensive line, and he dominated. He led his team in rushing, touchdown, yards from scrimmage.
So, again, what are you suggesting? That who should go out and get him?
The Falcons could use a running back. The Falcons could use a running back.
Not for the price.
Jacksonville Jaguars could use a running back. The Oakland Raiders could use a running back.
The Falcons should not go after either one of those two players you just mentioned.
I'm not saying they should. I'm saying if I'm a general manager, I'm hopping on it.
Here's my things with running backs in the NFL. They're a dime a dozen.
Yes, they are.
Jones-Drew is, how old is he now? He's getting
30.
up there. 30. We all know about the magic number 30 in the NFL with running backs.
Every year.
We all know about the magic number 30. And I know, you say that. LaDainian Tomlinson, we saw what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Steven Jackson came to the Falcons. We all said he's different. He takes care of himself so much. Yeah, that's what they all do, though. When they're 30, that's what happens. We all said Steven Jackson, he's different. Look at his body. Look how he keeps up. Look how he keeps in shape. Bam, second game, he's out.
Sean Marino's 27 years old.
I know. That's a different story. We're talking Jones-Drew.
All right.
Sean Marino, decent back. He's had one decent, I'll say good year. He's had one good year. One good year. And like you said, he's 27 years old. He's probably going to command a pretty high salary. I'm not giving it to him. Running backs, you can have a good running back. Michael Turner was a horrible running back for us, and he produced.
He produced because we had a good offensive line.
Amen. Any running back can produce with a good offensive line.
No.
Why would you invest too much in a running back?
Michael Turner wasn't a good blocker. Sean Marino is an exceptional blocker, and he picks up the calls.
Jeez. We'll agree to disagree.
Not any running back can play in the Peyton Manning system, and that's a proven fact. And Sean Marino excelled.
I think actually a lot of running backs have played well in the Peyton Manning system.
Joseph Adai
played great for Peyton Manning.
Yes, he did.
And what happened as soon as he went to the Cardinals?
He was 30, and he went to the Patriots.
He went to the Cardinals.
No, he didn't. That was Edgerrin James.
Okay, same deal. Same deal. Edgerrin James. Colts, great.
He played for the Colts for 10 years.
And then what happened when he left Peyton Manning? The next year. Just by coincidence? A lot of Monte Ball was a rookie this year. He had a darn good year.
At the end. He had some
and he was a rookie.
It doesn't matter. If you're on fumble, you're not playing for me. That's just how it is. Not playing for me.
Well, apparently to play for you need to be a third baseman that hits 40 home runs.
You're damn right.
So, yeah, there's only like 2 or 3 people in the world who will play for on your team. But either way, what's your other story?
The second biggest thing that happened in the NFL the past week is the Saints have hit Jimmy Graham with the franchise tag as a tight end. He has come out publicly and said, if you franchise tag me as a tight end, I will file a suit. I want to be tagged as a wide receiver with $8 million more per year. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, we all saw it coming. I mean, the Saints are hitting some salary cap issues. They're going to try to get him as cheap as possible. I think it's a bad move because I think we all know at the end of the day, technically he's a wide receiver.
He's going to get his money.
The stats all show wide receiver. Mm-hmm. But the Saints are going to do whatever they can. But here's the thing. You already know he's going to get paid as a wide receiver. Why sour our relationship? Why put a bad taste in Jimmy Graham's mouth?
Honestly, I think the reason why they tag him is to keep him around for a couple more weeks just to work out that long-term deal.
If that's right, then God bless him. It's a good strategy. If that's right, that still needs to be proven.
All right, and
because
only time will tell.
Ultimately, he's going to get paid wide receiver money, and
yes,
he should. I mean, all the stats, touchdowns, receptions, where he lined up.
He
on
led
the
NFL
scrimmage.
touchdown receptions.
But not just the catches and the touchdowns, but where he was lined up on those plays.
Yes,
they were all wide
receivers. Of the time,
receivers.
he was either in the slot or he was lined up out wide.
So he's going to get paid wide receiver money. The only thing left to see are the Saints, like you said, smart, and they're looking ahead. Or are they just making a bad business move and putting a bad taste in Jimmy Graham's mouth?
Like we said, time will tell. The third biggest thing was or is the Atlanta Falcons speculation when it comes to the safety Thomas Deku. He will count $4.8 million towards the cap next year. There have been talks of Darius Byrd, the injury-prone safety for Buffalo Bills that we released earlier last week. The Falcons are in contact with him. They haven't been a meeting set up for to bring him in and entertain him.
Because that's just media talk.
And that is. But Darius Byrd, he's a good option. You have Anti Batea from Indianapolis Colts, who's an older safety. He's played every game, never been injury prone, who might be a nice option. And I think the under the radar type safety would be us trading for one, which is a very real possibility.
Get rid of Thomas Deku, that's fine. We don't need another safety. We don't need to talk safeties. We don't need to think safeties. We don't need to anything safeties. I mean, our back end on our defense. You look at the Falcons' defense. The back end, the corners and the safeties are one of the only, which you could argue is strong point of our defense. You look at the front seven, it's wreck. It's a wreck. Whether you take Witherspoon out.
Well, I don't even know. You keep him in that wreck.
Well, I wouldn't call him a wreck.
Well,
he might not be the defensive leader / Hall of Famer that a lot of people have tried to pump him up to be, but he's a good player. I mean, he's not a wreck. He's not a wreck.
I mean, he's a decent player at this point in his career. He hasn't proven that he can stay on the field a significant amount of time to be called a good player.
I call him a good player. He got hurt last year, obviously. I still call him a good player. I still call him a good player. I still say, when you're looking at your front seven, he's one of the few semi-bright spots that have shown that they can produce. The rest of them has been just a pile of flaming dog crap. Just call it what it is. Other than Babineau, which, by the way, we're probably not going to have next year.
Well,
and you're going to tell me we need to talk safety?
One rookie, though. I'm not telling you we need to talk safety. I'm giving you the inside of what the Falcons are talking about now. What's on the front?
They're not talking about Darius Byrd.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
Yes.
The media is talking about Darius Byrd. The Falcons aren't stupid. They're not talking Darius Byrd with the money he's going to cost to bring in as a safety.
He won't demand as much as Thomas Deku's salary is next year.
Hogwash. He's going to demand twice as much.
No, sir.
Use your internet machine and look it up. He's going to be an expensive player.
No. And we're going to segue into the combine here. And we're going to talk about one player. And I think everyone knows that's Jadeveon Clowney.
Jadeveon.
Well,
or Javadion.
Yes.
Does he have a cousin that's in there?
Maybe.
Okay.
Clowney, put it in other words, he blew the roof off old Lucas Stadium with the 40 time. He ran an unofficial 4.47, and it ended up being an official 4.53.
Beast.
The only one negative spot on him is
big negative.
Yeah, it's a big negative. He bench rep 21 reps of 225, which is fourth lowest of any defensive end.
Big negative. I don't know why. Why? You're 265 pounds. What are you doing?
Not to defend him, but I have benched a lot in my life, and people with longer arms, it's harder for them to bench a heavier weight.
No, all right. Well, yeah, all right. You go explain that to
And he has a long wingspan.
Listen, Thomas, we should consider.
It doesn't matter what Thomas says because he won't be there at 6.
No, but in terms of him trading up or any team seriously looking at him, do you think Jadeveon's going to go in those meetings and they're going to like, so what happened? Why did you bench 21 reps?
No,
he's going to say, well, coach, I have long arms.
No, I mean, that's not – he was hurt towards the end of the year. wasn't able to get in the weight room as much as he would like to have. I mean, there's several factors.
Well, let's talk about what we know. We saw him multiple times throughout the year get gassed. Absolutely gassed in the middle of the games. His own coaches called his work ethic out.
I agree with that.
And then he shows up and he benches 21 reps.
I mean, it shows a little
Speed
lazy.
is speed.
I understand that. I'm not trying to defend him.
Sounds like you are.
No.
You just talked about long arms. I was defending.
I said if not to defend him, I was giving you an explanation that could be the reason. I'm not saying that is the reason.
There's a lot of people with long arms who can bench 121 times.
There's not many at the combine that did, though.
There's a ton that did.
They're big chested. They're offensive, defensive linemen.
Oh, God, Jesus. All right, either way, so Jadeveon Clowney, Kern takes him. I'd probably take him. I'm not moving up for him.
No.
Not moving up for him. No. Not selling draft picks for him.
Defensive coordinator, Houston Texans, Romeo Crennel, guarantee you right now, this is in Bill O'Brien's ear, salivating, waiting for Clowney. Clowney on one end, Watts on the other.
I mean, it sounds pretty.
It won't be
and
a
God bless
combination
him.
of edge rusher.
God bless him. I have no problem with him going one. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt because I've watched enough film on him playing college football that he's a beast. I've seen him run over offensive tackles. But what the heck? What's 21 reps, man? That concerns me. And also, I've heard a lot of good points mentioned as well. If double teams in college stop him, and they did, the kid got 3.5 sacks last year. What are double teams in the NFL going to do? To your point, though, the Texans can't double team him because they got J.J. Watt on the other end.
Absolutely.
But is that worth a first overall pick? We'll see.
All right. And we're going to move right along into the wrestling segment. It's going to be short and sweet.
Thank God.
This past Monday, Hulk Hogan returned to the WWE, spiking huge ratings in the show, which will be felt for the next couple of weeks.
Was he WWF, NWA, NWO? What is he now?
No, he's just
TNT.
He's just going to be the host of WrestleMania.
That's WWF, right?
Yes, and then after that, he will ride back into the sunset.
Sorry, WWE. Sorry, Wildlife Federation. I'm sorry. Hulk Hogan back, WrestleMania 30.
He's the WrestleMania 30 host.
30th. God bless you. I heard Brock Lesnar wants Undertaker. Is that accurate?
Yes. Very accurate.
Very accurate. So, good job, Hulk. Eat your vitamins, say your prayers, brush your teeth. We'll go ahead and get into college football. Off season, not a whole lot to talk about. I will talk about one thing that's near and dear to my heart. We do have a trailblazer in the sports world, and it again is the University of Texas officializing beer sales at college events.
Memphis actually did it last year in the bowl game.
All right, so I told you that I was going to talk about this, and you didn't tell me that you had that little nugget. All right, either way.
I can give you this bit of information. Memphis projected that they would sell 75.
I heard this on another show also, and they ended up doing 300
yes,
something thousand.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but Texas is the freaking trailblazers. Okay, they're the big university that's doing this. They did it at their women's college basketball game the other day. They're doing it moving forward. They say it's on a probationary, let's see how it goes kind of thing. But we all know, like you mentioned with the Memphis thing.
Yes, sales will spike huge dollars for any football program that's willing to sell alcohol.
And thank God.
And that means more scholarships.
It means no more sneaking alcohol into college football games.
That's right, David Gann.
Thank you.
Let's go.
All right.
Along.
That's really the biggest thing that happened this week.
Right.
But no, I'm still going. Also, one little thing I noticed, we're getting to that time of year where they're starting to have their spring games.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed, you know what happened last year with Florida, which, by the way, I'm a Gators fan, and Kern hasn't admitted
God
it
bless
yet.
your heart.
He's a Georgia fan. Yes. Either way, you know what Florida did last year with they're not doing their spring game. They opted to do kind of like a practice for show kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of a first of its kind of thing. A lot of people made a big deal out of it. Well, I noticed today looking on the World Wide Web thing that Pittsburgh has canceled their spring game. for a similar reason. Theirs was just that they have too many young players. So just kind of wanted your opinion. Is the spring game a big deal in college football? Does it mean anything, or is it a waste of time?
To me, I think the spring game it's a big deal, and it's not a big deal as to bring the fans out, see what you got. It's a big deal for the coaches. You evaluate your players. You see who's going to play for you on Saturday. You're going to see what these new recruits are all about, and you're going to see if they can actually play their first year, or you want to redshirt them. So for me, spring game is essential. I mean, you have to evaluate your players. You can't evaluate your players in a normal practice setting on 5-on-5 drills. You can't do it.
My question for you then would be, why are more and more coaches starting to opt out of the spring game?
Well, there's only been 2. And I to be honest with you, I can't answer that question. This is something that we might have to reach out and see if we can get one of them on the show.
Well, I know Will Muschamp kind of ran into his family once, but I don't know if we're on that level quite yet. But either way, really that's it in the college football world. Not a lot going on. Other players being suspended. Texas A&M lost a couple of players this week to suspension. Did you hear about that? One of them was a freshman All-American last year. Marijuana and something else. We all know about Georgia and losing.
Hang in there. It'll be legal soon.
Okay. And we all know about Georgia and Josh Harvey Clemens, and another one bites the dust at Georgia. It's just kind of what y'all do.
We recruit them,
and you get rid of them.
And we get rid of them. We chew them up and we spit them out.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes.
Good job. Either way, so that's really college football. Well, the college sport that is still going on, and it's getting hot. It's getting that time of year. College basketball. I finally started watching last week, college basketball. I'm starting to get into it a little bit. We have a few events going on. It's kind of a slow week, but we'll go ahead and get back to last Saturday, because last Saturday night we did have a big game. The Dukies and Syracuse. My pick for Prick of the Week, Jim Boeheim, going out there and
I'll second that one.
Oh, my God. What are you doing? You took your team out of the game. I heard somebody try to defend them as asinine. It's just – but a great game. It ruined what was really a great game.
Yes.
Solid game.
It overshadowed the players.
Sticking on that subject, though, Syracuse is overrated, in my opinion. They barely beat so many teams this year, and they're starting to catch up to them now. They've been starting to drop a couple of games. Don't know if they'll make it in that number 1 seed. It'll probably depend on how they end up doing in the ACC tournament. I'm not a big Syracuse buyer by any stretch.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know what you think about that.
For me, like you said, it's all going to be about the ACC tournament and how deep of a run they can make. Again, I think it's going to be Duke and Syracuse in the ACC.
Don't forget about Virginia. Virginia's a solid team.
Yeah. I mean, and for teams like Virginia, Wichita State, these smaller schools that doesn't have the bigger success, they're starting to do a lot better, because you're starting to have these one and done, so to speak. So these teams that have the 4 and 5 year seniors on their teams, and you got 2 and 3 of them, you're going to start seeing a lot more of these teams make a deeper run into March Madness, I feel.
Yeah, that's what we've been seeing over the past few years.
Yes.
Florida Gulf Coast,
yes.
VCU.
Georgia State this year.
No, I disagree.
All right. Keep going.
Who is Georgia State beating? Absolutely nobody.
But
a lot of people are trying to make them darlings.
They have a lot of seniors on their teams. They'll make a deep run in the conference, and I think they'll make a somewhat run.
They will beat probably Troy, even though they lost to them about a week ago,
Mm-hmm.
and they might beat whoever, West Woodland High School State in their conference. But when it comes against actually playing in a university, no, they're not good.
Time will tell.
Okay. They can't score a lot of points, but that's about all they can do. Other than that, in college basketball this week.
Actually, wait, to go back to that, Georgia State leads the whole nation in field goal percentage. You say they can't score a lot of points. So
I said they do score a lot of points.
I apologize.
That's all they do.
So let's move it along.
Okay, good. All right. Do you have a Panthers shirt on under that?
No.
Is that what's going on?
All
right.
This weekend.
No, I've still got some more college basketball here. You got me off my game here. So we talked about that. Let's go ahead and talk about the local teams. We're based out of Atlanta, even though you might be watching in Seattle, Washington. God bless you. But we're based out of Atlanta. We're going to talk about the Atlanta teams. Georgia Tech, you're horrible. No reason to talk. I'm sorry. I actually have a Georgia Tech fan sitting over there. I'm sorry, but they're really bad.
They're worse than bad.
Yeah, they don't deserve to be in the ACC.
You might want to give the Sun Belt a call.
Yeah, Georgia State. Yeah, you might want to look at ACC. The other one's Georgia, and a lot of folks around these parts were starting to make whispers.
They're steaming.
Whispers about, does Georgia deserve to be in the tournament?
Well, after tonight.
Do they? They beat Missouri for the second time earlier this week, and deserve in the SEC.
And what do they do to follow that up with?
They get beat. Because they're not a good basketball team.
No. Oh, well,
They're not.
We'll move.
Arkansas.
That's a
They beat
different argument
Kentucky
for a different
earlier.
day.
They beat Kentucky earlier this week. They beat Georgia today. Maybe. Third place in the SEC, though. I'm still not impressed. You're still not that good. Kentucky, I don't even know what Kentucky is this year, to be honest with you. So
Kentucky's a glorified high school state championship team. All freshmen. That's what Kentucky is.
So take what you want to take with that. So that's basically college basketball. What do you got in the NBA this week?
NBA, Russell Westbrook returned for the Oklahoma City Thunder, and they dropped the first 3 games he's played. So you can tell the chemistry's down. Durant came out last night, dropped 37 to end the 3-game skid. Beast mode. MVP in my pick, actually.
Yeah, that's
tonight in the NBA, one of the I feel all-time greats, had his number retired, rightfully so, and Allen Iverson. I know he was.
I'm a big Iverson supporter.
I know you're a big Iverson fan, so I wanted to bring the conversation up and see your thoughts of his career and where he ended up now after basketball.
After basketball?
Yeah.
Well, as a human being, he's probably a schmuck, but he gave a magical. Really, I mean, I'm an Iverson supporter for 1 or 2 years of his career. To me, that 2001 season he had, where they made it to the finals and they beat the Lakers in the first game and then lost the rest of them. He captured a piece of my heart there. I was 15 years old that year, and I don't know. I hated the Lakers, the whole Shaq and Kobe thing, and their dominance. And Iverson's just this little
the underdog, the ultimate
this
underdog
little
story.
fella who was so fast and made all these moves, and he was just so fun to watch.
And he can handle the basketball.
He could, and he kind of went downhill after that, but I don't know. He caught my heart that year. I'm an Iverson supporter. God bless him. He gave me a couple of really cool, memorable years in the NBA.
All right. And, congratulations to Allen Iverson.
Yeah. He's probably a schmuck as a human, though.
The Atlanta Hawks haven't endured much success of late.
Good.
They've lost.
You know how the Falcons went downy for Clowney?
Yeah,
Hawks need to go sorry for Jabari.
All right. With the 8-game skid, earlier in the year we lost Al Horford to injury.
Good.
Which was
good.
bad. It was a big hit for us.
No, it's good.
Jeff Teague, in my opinion, needs to get more aggressive.
He needs to be traded.
All right. With the 8-game skid, Jeff Teague hasn't played well at all. He hasn't been aggressive. He hasn't taken it to the paint. He's not splitting the double teams. He's looking sorry, to say the least. And in my opinion, we shouldn't have paid him that much money this past offseason. And we should have traded him to the Knicks when we had the chance.
Bucks.
Oh, yeah, the Bucks signed him to the sheet and we matched the offer sheet.
Well, Jeff Teague he's not a horrible basketball player, but he's not a good basketball player.
Jeff Teague is not a starting point guard in the NBA.
It's good backup.
By any means.
It's good backup.
He's a Jarrett
Good luck
Jack.
to you.
Maybe a Jarrett Jack. I would take Jarrett Jack over.
But we
Jeff
signed him
Teague.
to a long deal contract. I think we wanted to trade him this year, and he got a little bit of an ankle injury.
He did. He did.
Good timing on your part. You're still here.
Oh.
All right. We'll go ahead and we're going to skip into some baseball here. We already talked about the Braves and what's going on with them. And again, off-season, I'm kind of charged with the off-season sports right now.
We did beat the Tigers today, by the way, spring training.
Mike, I haven't had a chance to look at it. Have you looked at the stats from that game?
I got to listen to a little bit of the radio today when I went to get lunch from work. And I know there's a lot of walks. Pitching wasn't doing well at all. It was bad showing by the pitching staff today in all accounts. I think we actually walked in 3 runs this game. And if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but I know it's close to that number.
I didn't see what happened today. I looked over what's happened the past couple of days, and I mean, I'm on the record for stating when it comes to spring training, which, by the way, spring training, a month long.
Too long.
A month long. If you look at it's 33% of the college football regular season is spring training. Holy mackerel, a month? Is it necessary? No, it's not. But I'm not a spring training fan. I'm not an NFL preseason fan. A lot of people try to make big deals out of them. However, there are some things to pay attention to and to pick up on. And for me, I have 3. One, we've already talked about briefly, Beachy. Him coming back and being a successful part of our rotation is huge.
Being a successful part of our rotation is not maxing out at 88 miles per hour in a fastball.
You're right.
And
You're right.
He's got it. Like you said, he's got a month. He's got to improve it.
First start, and he said himself right now in his first 3 to 4 starts in spring training, he's focusing on how he feels tomorrow, not how he's pitching today, how he's going to feel tomorrow.
I tell you what, a lot of people snickered and turned their head when we signed Gavin Floyd this offseason. But the way Beachy's been throwing this offseason, I'm happy we got him.
One spring training game. You can never argue with depth in the rotation, but he is one of my things because I do believe when he is right, he's a top of the lineup guy. I would take him over Medlin. Tehran I'm a fan of, Minor I'm a fan of, but I think those 3 together, you have 3 special young pitchers there. That's my opinion. So watch how he progresses through these 30 days. That is important to me. The other 2 things, Danny Uggles. It is important how he does in spring training to me. If he comes out there and he bats 150 in the spring training, it's just a bad sign for what's going to come.
Very bad sign.
And B.J. Upton, same thing to me.
And the way I feel about Dan Uggla, I feel differently about Dan Uggla and B.J. Upton. B.J. Upton's been here 1 year, and not to defend him, he was a horrible year. We have to give him another chance. Every man deserves a second chance. Dan Uggla, you're on your 9-5. You come out and you hit 150. Let's pay him his money and send him down the road right now. I mean, that's the way I feel about it.
Well, I agree, but that's why I say we need to pay attention. And I don't know what happened today, but I know what happened in the first 2 games. Dan Uggla, 2 for 2. And what I like about the 2 for 2, and I do think it's worth paying attention to, 2 singles. I love seeing him hit singles.
He's hitting it where it's pitched.
Nothing better. And guess what he did yesterday? 2 walks. I love seeing him take walks.
If you remember, at the end of last year, he did have the LASIK eye surgery, so let's cross our fingers and hope that it's going to help.
Didn't help him last year, but maybe. And B.J. Upton on the other side, I think he's as of yesterday, I didn't see today, 1 for 5, 1 for 6, so he's right back in stride.
But with B.J. Upton, I think it's going to help him in the longer run. Us not putting him at the top of the lineup as we did last year.
We'll see.
Let him put him at the back of the lineup, wait, and see some pitches. Last year he didn't get to see much. So we'll see what happens with that.
We will see. So that's really all we have that's happened this past week. Again, in first week on the show, kind of a slow week in sports. Not a whole lot going on right now. March Madness coming. We got a lot of good stuff coming. But let's go ahead and switch gears now. That's kind of recapped all that's going on. But what we'd like to do now is Colonel's, he's kind of a trivia buff, I guess you could say, when it comes to trivia and sports. For example, watch T.J. Duckett. What school did he go to?
Michigan State.
Bam! I mean, he's a dork. Harvey Dahl, what number did he wear?
I don't remember.
Don't make me look bad. All right,
73.
There, bam! All right, good deal. So we're going to do a little trivia, but it won't be just what school did they go to and what numbers, hopefully, because I don't stand a chance. We're going to have our producer of the show. His name is Robert Patella. He's going to name off of 5 trivia questions, and as we get more popular and hopefully eventually we have somebody that watches this on YouTube, we might have Kern compete against somebody. But for now, it's just going to be me against this guy, so we'll see how it goes. Rob, 5 questions, please.
No multiple choice. Just read the question.
Okay. Thank you, guys. All right, first question. What Baltimore player was named NFL Defensive Player of the Year in 2000?
Ray Lewis.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Yes, it was Ray Lewis.
Well, I mean, we both got to give an answer.
All right, 1-1.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question. What Dallas Star was named NFL Rookie of the Year in 1969?
Oh, jeez. The quarterback guy.
Bart Starr.
That is incorrect.
That was the Green Bay. Bart Starr.
Calvin Hill
Yeah, okay, I've never heard
was
of him.
named Rookie of the Year for Dallas in
All
1969.
right, still 1-1.
All right, number 3. What Cardinals rookie of 2003 caught a pass in his first 32 games?
Anquan Boldin.
Bolden.
Both are right.
2-2.
All right, second to last question. It's getting heated. What defensive back played for a record 20 seasons for the Redskins?
Darryl Green.
David?
Uh,
Darryl Green is right. All right, Kern's ahead.
Stupid.
All right, number 5. This one determine who's going to win. In 1984, who became the first quarterback in NFL history to pass for more than 5,000 yards in a single
Montana.
In 84.
Oh, no, Marino. Dan Marino. Final answer.
Dan Marino.
You're both right. Dan Marino.
That's stupid. You just copy. He copied my answer. All right, whatever. Kurt won the first trivia one, even though he copied my answer on the
I didn't
last
copy
one.
your answer. Come on, how do you not know who Darryl Green is? All-time leader in punt return yards,
How many
interception
Darryl Green
yards.
games did you watch? By the way, what the sports fans need to know is he
All right,
didn't watch a
thank-
single game
thank
before
you
5 years
very
ago.
much for-
All right, so anyway,
All right, guys.
no, we're not done yet. Now we move on to our next segment. Predictions.
Predictions. This is, and we're going to keep track of this, and this is going to be another point scored.
So Kern got one. He kind of cheated, but that's
Kind of
cool.
cheated. All right, you can kiss him.
All right, so anyway, predictions. We got 3 games that we're going to predict next week, and we'll see how it goes. 2 college basketball, 1 NBA. We'll start off with college basketball. The 2 biggest games next week, Monday through Friday, it's kind of a slow week. But next Saturday, we have some good ones. We got the Dukies in North Carolina and the rivalry game next Saturday. At Cameron, what do you got?
I was going to make the pick first.
Go ahead.
No, you finished what you were going to say.
That was it.
At Cameron, what?
No indoor stadium.
North Carolina and Duke, they played earlier. North Carolina, let's be frank, they came back in the second half and they beat them. Coach K will have the team up. They'll be revving for some revenge, and I have Duke pulling this one out.
Unfortunately, I have to agree. North Carolina did beat them the first time around, but they weren't the better team. They played the better game. They gave more effort. Duke's a better team. They'll be at home. They're not going to screw around. Duke wins. I predict they'll probably win fairly easily.
Me too.
All right. Well, the other one next Saturday, we got an SEC matchup, Fighting Gators versus Kentucky.
Number
Gators
1 team
at
in
home.
the nation.
Number 1, I'm not sure if they deserve number 1. Honestly, me as a Gators fan, I'm not sure how much they deserve it, but that'll be another time for another
If I knew
show.
how to spell Wichita State, it'd be right here.
That's sad. But, all right. Either way. All right, I'll let you go first again. Florida,
No,
Kentucky.
you go ahead.
Well, I mean, obviously, the Fighting Gators at home. Better team at home. End of the year. Momentum going into the tournament. Gators.
And I'm going to piggyback you on that one.
All right, so it's 2 for 2. Hopefully we disagree on this last one, or else we are. I'll have a tiebreaker for us. I already have it in head, but we'll see what we have. We have an NBA game next week. Couple of good games next week. The one that catches my eye, you got the repeat from last year's championship, the Heat versus the Spurs. Do you want to go first? Or do you want me to go?
Just a tidbit and nugget before we make this pick. I don't know if you happened to see the game last night when the Spurs with Ginobili's shoe actually busted.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
Whoever manufactured that shoe, you took a big hit last night.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm not calling you out though.
The Spurs and the Heat. I'm going with Spurs here.
Disagree.
Greg Popovich gets his team up when it counts for the big games. They're old. He'll rest them. They'll be ready to go. Mark my words, Timmy. Don't let me down.
All right, good. We finally disagree on something for a couple of reasons. First of all, Tim Duncan is like 78 years old this
He
year.
can still get it
No,
done.
he's not. He doesn't.
Have you seen his girlfriend? Anyway, keep going.
Not sure what that has to do with anything. But yeah, he doesn't do anything Tim Duncan's done. Also, Greg Popovich, to your point, hell of a coach. And when it comes to playoffs, he gets his team going. Greg Popovich could care less about a March 5th, 6th game
This
against the Miami
atmosphere
Heat.
will be a playoff atmosphere.
I disagree.
No.
Maybe, but we've seen Greg Popovich go to Miami in the past and sit half of his starters just because it's the middle of the
He left
regular
for San
season.
Antonio at the beginning.
Exactly.
But exactly, it's the end of the year. You're ramping up. You're getting ready for the playoff run,
It's March.
and
It's
they want
not
to
April.
make a point.
It's March.
And
not
it's gonna
April.
happen.
We'll see. Here's the thing. Even when they are making a point, they still lost in the NBA Finals last year.
Yes, they did.
So let's say if they're not making a point, they get blown out. If they are making a point, I still think the Heat are obviously good enough to beat them. I think it's a good game, a little exciting. Heat beat them, so we disagree. That's what we got.
All right. And again, I'm Kern. This is David. We'd like to thank you for joining us for the first ever episode of the David and Goliath Show.
Adios.